What? What is going on, All-Terrain Nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, you know the drill. It does not matter what you drive. This is your All-Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Wood, and it is time. Every once in a while, I throw out a Friday Live just to see what is going on with everybody, and I thought, hey, it's 1:30 here in Nashville, Tennessee. Why not do that? What's up, JD? I thought, hey, why not talk about my travels? I've been on the road for 2 freaking weeks, and I'm worn out. I'm damn near carred out. But I'm still here, and I'm having a blast, man. What's up, Austin? Got a few people in the chat. We'll definitely hope others join in, but I know this isn't a normal, scheduled time, but I've been playing around with times, trying to figure out what works. I'd like to do some stuff during the day, and some people are on during the day, and some people are on during the night. So I'd like to offer something for a little bit for everybody. So what is going on, everybody? Like I said, I've had a busy week. So I had a Nissan event that I ran for 10 years. I came up with called Windrock. It was coming to a close. I needed to end that, and that was in Windrock Park in East Tennessee. And then I got on a jet airplane and flew down to Austin, Texas for a few days to test out a bunch of really, really cool products. Andy, dude, you're so crazy, man. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, so I'm got a bunch of vehicles. I have like a notepad full of vehicles to talk about, and if you've seen the description at all, you're going to know what's going on. And I definitely want participation in this one today because I tested it all, and I will say this right up front: I test drove the new Toyota Tundra, and it was the 1794 edition, I believe. And I'm not going to, I cannot discuss what it drove like right now. I can talk about the interior, the exterior, and all that stuff, but I just cannot give any kind of how it drove right now. There's an embargo on that information till Tuesday, and so try as you will, but I can't talk about it, unfortunately. But I can talk about everything else about the truck, and I got to drive the hybrid version too, which was really, really cool. I got to drive the new Wrangler 392. That thing was a lot of fun. Let's see. I drove the Acura MDX SH, which was a pretty plush freaking ride. One of my vehicles of the year, I got to drive the 2021. Andy, I don't want to know how it works, dude. That way, it's always a surprise. I got to drive the all-new Grand Cherokee, which is probably my SUV of the year right now. I am planning on doing a list of things I've drove and been around later in the year yet. But the Grand Cherokee is looking very, 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 very high on that list. I got to play with a little bit, nothing real detailed, the new Compass from Jeep. That was pretty nice. I'm looking through my list here. I could probably just go here over to my description here, and I could tell you. There we go. So let's see. The 2022 4Runner, which is a freaking dinosaur. It's still an awesome SUV, but then the thing is a freaking dinosaur. I drove the Jeep Wagoneer Series 2, which is Jeep's new full-size bad boy. It's not that I could have drove the Grand, but I didn't. I drove the Grand in the Cherokee, and I kind of wanted to, let's just play with the lesser version on the full-size, though I did have it available to me. Let's see, what else we got here? The Ram TRX. That was a lot of fun we can talk about. And the Jeep Wrangler 4xe, I drove that. And the Infiniti QX60 Autograph Edition. And the last but not least, the Nissan Frontier, the 2022 Nissan Frontier. What's up, Dr. Detroit? What would Dr. Detroit, are you talking about the Toyota? Or okay, there of the Toyota. We'll get in that in just a second, man. But I drove, I want to say 9 or so vehicles this past Monday. And I had a blast. I really did. Being a part of the Texas Writers Association opens the doors for a lot of cool things. And I'm hoping, honestly, for the channel's sake, it opens up a lot of PR doors. So I can play with a few extra vehicles. Sorry, that thing's reflecting on me. It's driving me crazy. Let's do that. There we go. Now y'all can see the back of my head. But I really am. I'm hoping that some of this does open up because I got to meet a lot of PR people. Some I knew, some I didn't know. Obviously Nissan, I have a pretty good connection with Nissan, and Steve Yeager was over there, and Steve's always a class act. So cheers to Steve. And sadly, I can't. It's just too early for this. But it's never too early for this. Oh man, but those are a list of vehicles, and there was a bunch more that I got to walk around a little bit, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But first off, hopefully everybody's Friday is going well. If it is your Friday, I should say anymore. We live in a weird, strange world where sometimes my Fridays aren't everybody's Fridays, but my Friday's going great here in Middle Tennessee. The rain is gone. It's sunny out, and hopefully there's sunny skies wherever you're at. Let's get into the first vehicle. And Dr. Detroit's asking about that Toyota. I gotta save that, bro. I can't just give the best thing out of the way right away, can I? Semi-nude. But I can't just give the Tundra away. But I will say, let's see. Let's hint of it a minute. Let's see. What would you describe the look of it as? There's that dude on on the Family Guy. It's got the real long chin. We'll start with that as a description of that thing. But we'll get into the Wrangler 4xe or 4xe, whatever they want to call it. Cloudy as hell in Maryland. Well, you're about to get some cold weather up there too, Austin. I bet you're missing Tennessee. But the 4xe was first off, it was in that hot pink, whatever they're going to call it, and it was that color is very interesting in person. It's not a color for me by any means. I think I always applaud Jeep for trying new colors, and you know they've had some pink-ish Jeeps, but this is by far one of the more pink Jeeps out there. And I think that they've colorized. It's okay. Once again, I think it's a one and done color. I don't think that it's something that's going to last a long time, but I think there's a few select people who will want that vehicle, guys and ladies. In the light, it reflects in that yes, the 4xe. In the light, it is all over the map as far as what the color is, the way the pearlescence of that color does, and it is what it is. The interior of that vehicle, it was a Rubicon, so the interior of that thing was nothing out of the ordinary. You're getting a lot of blue stitching instead of the normal red because it is a hybrid version. It was, I have to say, after especially having a Jeep right now, getting in a lot of these things, like the 392 in this, it felt very familiar. Like you get in it, and you're like, oh, okay, I know this vehicle. Except for the fact that's kind of the bummer of it is you're like, oh, I know this vehicle. But so we hopped in the 4xe or 4xe, and you push the little start button, and you're used to hearing that 3.6 start up, and well, nothing happened. But it was on, so that was kind of interesting. Is Kelly had asked me, she's like, "Did it start?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's on. You've got the air conditioning, everything kicked on, and you got your little gauge in there that gives you the how much power was left." Now, sadly, this thing being in a group of riders, auto journalists, that it had some battery left by the time I got it, but I wore the battery out on that thing, and the little 4-cylinder would kick in. And just drove like a normal Jeep. Now, what I did not like about this thing, there was a couple things. I hate to say, like, it feeling so familiar was kind of a bummer, and I get why Jeep does it, because they were trying to convert their current audience into new tech, and so you don't want to just like make the interior of this thing completely different. Now these did have their I don't know what they call their tops. It was a hard top, but it had the little soft top center core that would slide all the way back. Was really cool, and then you could pop the side glasses out, which was really, really nice. I did happen to notice in the two Jeeps, one we had it, I believe the 392, we kept the glass on the back part of the frame, and on the 4xe we had it out. And I will say, going down the road, horrible experience with that whooping. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, where it just feels like your inner your head is just like shaking. It's the way the pressure of the cab and the outside air is going across the cabs and stuff. Just drove me freaking nuts. Now you could roll the windows down and that was go away. And or probably if you had the doors off, it'd be even better. But that was a slight annoyance. But out on the road, so I took the thing out on the road and I drove like a Jeep. It drives exceptionally well. I mean, for a solid axle, they're going to wander a little bit. They're going to be all over the road. But the thing drove pretty freaking nice, I have to say, except for when it comes to the regenerative braking. And yes, the helicopter feeling. If you don't know, it's an EV, and most EVs have regenerative braking. So when you let off the gas, it's kind of like a one pedal. It's trying to, what's up, Corey? Of course you like this shirt, bro. Corey, if you're bored, man, hop on here. But yes, it was, it's hard to get used to that. And I didn't play with this too much, but I was told that you can adjust the regenerative braking. I think it was Corey and me were talking about this. You can slightly, set that to, I think it was set to probably max regeneration. So when you let off it just felt like somebody was hitting the brakes and was very annoying. There's times when you want to, you're cruising, especially on the trails. I would say that you're cruising with this thing and you want to just kind of coast down. This thing was damn near stopping you. It was so firm with the braking. But like I said, it was a lot like the one pedal. You let off of it and it was gonna, it's trying to collect some of that energy and reuse it, which is really cool. But it was kind of a pain in the butt that I have to say I was not much of a fan of with that. And I should have got it. If Jeep ever wants to send me one this way for a week-long review, I definitely would. Oh, awesome, Corey. Just let me know when you're coming in. But we'll bring old Corey there in with GT Garage Talk. But it ultimately the thing, and let me get into the price because sorry, my train of thought got messed up there talking to Corey. Let me get my my notes on this because this is what shocked me, and it shocked me in the review when I did it. That would you say kind of Austin? It was like the Jake brake, you felt it noticeably. You could feel like you let off the gas, that you could feel your body wanting to move forward a little bit. It was so in tune. But you have to pardon me here, guys and gals. I'm going through my notes. The Texas Auto Writers Association was nice enough to make these nice booklets here with all the trucks we were getting to review. But the problem also was trying to find it when you're wanting to talk to somebody and trying to find your notes. I did have a chance to check out the Volkswagen EV, which was really, really cool. Let me see. I know this is dead air. It sounds dumb. But they had over 50 vehicles for us to play with, man. And if you like cars as much as I do, it was it was hard to choose which one. And then you kind of had to fight some reporters over which one you wanted. And especially that new Tundra. That Tundra, man, was the hottest vehicle out there. Everybody wanted to get kind of their first impressions out of the way of that thing. I know, Corey, you've got a nice video that you did on it. I've yet to release, other than a quick walk around, I've yet to release anything on it. Jeez, where are my notes? Here we go. There it is. All right. Got my notes. So the 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe, MSRP on that thing is $54,725. And you're like, okay, that's in line with a Rubicon, right? Which this is. It's a Rubicon. So you're thinking, cool. Hey, man, I would buy a hybrid if it was at that price, except for the fact that the MSRP as equipped, what I tested it at, was damn near $70,000. It was $68,615. Now, you're getting some nice things with that as well. It's not like oh, sorry, Corey. It's not like it's a bare bones vehicle. You're getting all of Jeep's normal plush features, leather and all that, but at price tested, and I would like to say that probably the paint color is an added option. It doesn't say in my notes here. But, for a 4-cylinder, you're getting 375 horsepower. you're getting 21 miles of pure electric operation, which I've dinged that thing in the past for when I've been talking about that, is I just do not believe that is enough to do anything with. It's a good start, we could say. It would be a great concept start, in my opinion. Now, the problem Jeep has with this thing is not making that all hook up to the motor. It's where do you put batteries in this thing? You know, they're using basically a already proven design with the JL's design, and they've got very limited room to put some batteries in this thing. So I think that's one of the kind of things that stinks about it. Like, Jeep jumps all in with it, and they're going to get dinged for that. I know TFL over there, those guys had played with it and got like, I forget, Nathan got like 3 miles off-road just using strictly electric. Something ridiculous. And something that I think with the EV culture that's coming around, I'm by no means, I like EV tech. I was a big, when Nissan brought out the Leaf, I was all in on that. And then the economy kind of made it where I couldn't purchase one. I think the Tesla stuff's amazing if you can get past their quality issues. And Tesla fanboy is going to really freak out by me saying that, but there is truth to that. Some of these newer manufacturers, they need to work on quality, but the EV stuff is great. I just don't see it in the trucks and everything ready for prime time. I think we're just now getting into cars, making cars work. You know, Nissan's got the new Aria. There's all these. Oh, sorry, I got Corey on here. You guys are gonna have to be patient. If you're fans of the channel, you're gonna know. You're gonna hear probably Corey popping in just a second. I'll get his video going in a minute. So let's see here. If Corey, there's Corey. I don't know if he can see me or not just yet, but we'll see. Corey, can you hear me all right? And I can't hear Corey. So we'll give it a minute. Hey, you guys know how technology works, and you got all these gearheads, as Corey would say, are jumping in the last minute that we got to play with it here. Let's see. All right, let's get some. There we go. There's Corey. Bam, there's Corey. And now if we can get some volume with you, Corey, we'll be all right. Got no mic just yet, but it looks like you can hear me. Oh, and then I lost Corey. There we go. There's Corey. What's going on?
I gotta love technology.
Oh yeah, technology is great when when somebody goes, "Hey, you want to join in?" You're just like, "Okay, why not?" But what's going on, man? How was your Texas? How was the rodeo? There we go. Let's see. So, Corey, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
There we go, man. Yeah, look, you got your own studio, and you're over there like trying to figure out your own studio, man.
Well, I was out walking around the neighborhood, enjoying the beautiful weather we've got out here, and saw that you were live, and I wanted to jump on and hustle back and see what was like.
Well, first off, it was nice to actually get to meet you in person the other day, man. That was a lot of fun.
I know, right?
And it was awesome to watch you and what's your partner's name? I always forget. Matt. It was fun to watch you guys work. That's the thing is, you guys, viewers, you get to see the final product, but you never get to see how the final product is made, and all the stress. And being a two-partner system there helps when you want to gather vehicles, when you want to side-by-side, and you see a lot of people with just one person trying to do it all themselves. They're out there struggling to make one video, and you guys are out there tearing it up, man. I love it.
Well, yeah, so this was not my first rodeo.
Right.
I had to get that joke in there. Last year, I was flying solo. Matt couldn't make it, and I had to do my best. I had just injured myself and ended up really just bringing home TRX content last year. This year is not the case. I've got like 20 videos I have to make.
I know, man. I was looking at my list, and I started writing them on the board yesterday, and I was like, I've got 9 vehicles that I've got to somehow make content with. And, I'm fairly new to this part of, oh, we lost Corey. Where's your video?
Yeah.
There he is. But people don't realize, like, when you go to these press events like this, it's all out all day, full steam. Like, you got to get your hands on the latest and greatest. And I think the Toyota was the hottest thing out there, the Tundra.
Yeah, so we had two to choose from, and there were 50 of us.
Yes.
So you do the math. It was tough to get a hold of, and yeah, I've already got two Tundra videos out. One from the State Fair, Texas, and then our interior walk around out at the rodeo. I'm editing our drive video today on my other screen right now. My goodness, my fans, I don't know about my fans are hungry for Tundra content. So
Yes.
It's like, okay, you like? Here you go.
Well, I seen your kind of walk around video you did the other day. The numbers on that video were incredible, man. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yeah, like I said, people are my fans especially are hungry for it. So if you want it, I'll give it to you. And working with Toyota on the back end now, trying to make something else happen.
Nice, man. Well, it was a shame that old Tim Esterflaw over there got to go to San Antonio and hang out with the rest of those trucks, and me and you were over there going, well, we just have to get our scraps in here.
I mean, we were the first journalists in the country to get to drive it, so there is that.
There is, like, you can't complain too bad. That is true, because I know some of the big boys had to wait till they got the San Antonio invite. So, and then somebody went out of the gate and broke the thing, like right out of the gate, and they just broke it.
So I'm keeping that one quiet.
Right.
Yes.
But no, it was nice to get that. I think we can't really talk too much about driving impressions, but just walking around that 1794 edition, that thing is really, really nice. And the interior, I've always thought that the Tundra, it was aging, but I thought, it's not a bad looking truck, but Toyota seemed to really, really step it up.
Yes. So what was even more interesting with that 1794 is it was spec'd almost exactly like the vehicle Matt and I drove to the event. We had a press loaner from Ford in a crew cab, long bed, power boost, King Ranch,
right?
F-150, that brown, yes. Western themed, color scheme, yes. Turbo or twin turbocharged V6, yes. Hybrid, yes. It was as apples to apples as we're ever going to get. And to not be able to talk about it yet is driving me crazy.
Oh, of course, man, of course. But right now, I think for both of us, that's probably the hottest vehicle that you could get your hands on.
Absolutely. It's interesting. We've put some TRX teasers out. Matt has really been in on the YouTube shorts here lately. Mm-hmm. And I just remember all the buzz around the TRX at last year's rodeo, because, again, we were some of the first journalists to get to drive that last year. And now it's like old news. We are a year later. I don't know about you, but they are everywhere around Tyler, Texas. I see at least one a day. It's insane how many TRXs are out on the road, and people are really interested in the Tundra now.
Well, yeah, the TRX and Ram had brought I think there was 3 of them out there this year, so they definitely wanted everybody to get their hands on it. Was there 4? 4? Yeah. Okay. I don't remember the red, silver, and I don't remember the other ones.
And a couple of white ones.
Oh, that's right. They had a pair of white ones. I took the silver one out, man. It had all the sport bars and stuff on it, and I was very impressed with that vehicle, because it was the first time me getting my hands on it. Just to hear that, you start it up and you hear that supercharger whining. If you're not into hot rods, that truck is not for you.
Right. So similar situation. We also got in the silver one. It was Matt's first time to drive the TRX. He and I have previously driven the Charger, Hellcat, SRT, wide body. I can't remember the exact lineup of names, but 797 horsepower in that one at Texas Motor Speedway. That video's up. He did a burnout in that one. I wish I had gotten some external shots of that. We've driven the SRT powered Durango. We've driven the Jeep Trackhawk, which is also it was at the time the most powerful SUV. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we've kind of driven them all. And that was Matt's first opportunity to drive the TRX. I think that's the one he wants most out of all of them.
I have to say, that was our first vehicle. That was the first one we got to jump into. So it was kind of a shame, because horsepower wise, everything else was just kind of like, well, okay, it wasn't, super exciting after that. But
You set the bar really high.
yes, yes, and some of the luxury vehicles we all get to play with, like they're not meant to be like that. But
Right.
I love American horsepower, and me and Kelly, we had a blast in that thing, and I've got some more content coming on that, but I can't say enough for that vehicle. But then again, you look at the price tag, $80,000, or what was it, 87,000, maybe something like that. It was a little bit pricey for what you're getting.
Yeah. It's an investment for sure, and it's the investment that keeps on taking because fuel economy not spectacular in that. Tires aren't going to be cheap, maintenance upkeep not going to be cheap, so you're in it if you get one of those.
Yes.
And you need to be prepared, which kind of leads me to bringing you back to where you were when I jumped on.
Uh-oh.
And that was talking about Wrangler 4xe.
Oh, yes.
Because you and I had very differing opinions about that rig out there.
Well, give the audience here a little taste of your impression of that vehicle.
So Matt and I have previously on our podcast interviewed the leader, the creator of the Jeep 4xe fan group on Facebook. And I don't know if it's because of his connection with that, but he was also the first civilian, I'm going to say, owner of a 4xe. He got a Sahara 4xe or Sahara high altitude. He got a really nice one, but not a Rubicon.
Right.
And was, like I said, the first recipient of a production unit, and was even featured in Stellantis's Battery Day presentation. They went out and interviewed him for that. And so I have a long-standing history of talking electrified Jeeps. And, just what was it, last week, Jeep announced the 2022 Grand Cherokee non-L that will also come in 4xe Trailhawk trim that has got me like salivating to get to test that one because I just know the capabilities, and especially after testing a Wrangler Rubicon 4xe, I'm like, yes, please give me more of this.
Right.
So yes, I am the techie of the two of us. Matt's more the old school traditional, which I love. I absolutely love the sound of a big V8. But because of our connection with this 4xe group, they were requesting that Matt and I hit head-to-head the 392 Hemi-powered Wrangler Rubicon, which this one was Rubicon Extreme, against the 4xe. So you got to give the people what they want. So I took out the Tuscadero Pink 4xe, and he took out the Hydro Blue 392 Rubicon Extreme, and ran them back to back on the trail against one another. And we both loved the rigs that we were in. My only downside, like I said, I absolutely wanted to drive the 392, but we kind of felt like we had been hogging both of those for far too long. So we returned them before swapping them, and I'm sad.
Right. I think some people don't realize when you get to, well, most people probably wouldn't, when you get to these events, there's all these people itching to drive everything. So you do get a limited time. And it's not like the reviews you can do. It's not like when they give you a press loan for 7 days and you can kind of live with the vehicle and see what it's like. This is kind of quick hit reviews.
Absolutely. And like I said, we really felt like we were hogging that. We wanted to be able to get the content that was requested of us, that we knew we had connections that would share it out and that it would be received positively. I, in fact, talked to Scott Talon, the head of Jeep marketing, to arrange to have both of them at the same time. And so, I did not want to be that guy who hogged them for an hour or more. So we made sure to give them back. So I took a hit for the gearhead community out there and did not get to drive the 392 however much I wanted to. But I rode around. Unfortunately, I've got no in-vehicle footage of it. The GoPro kind of fell apart in his hands.
Oh, no.
But I rode around in the 4xe with Scott Talon, the head of Jeep marketing.
Right.
And Matt was driving around in the 392 with one of the guys from the SRT division. So we had some important people riding around with us. And in fact, Scott ended up becoming Matt's spotter through. They opened up the off-road 201 and 301 course for us to do a little extensive rock climbing. So I'm very excited to get that video cut together and put out as well.
Nice. I'll be very excited to watch that. And if you guys don't know, Corey, what's the name of your channel in case they don't know who you are?
GT Garage Talk. So everything can be found, like everything we do is all at GT Garage Talk. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and naturally youtube.com/GT Garage Talk.
Right. And they were smart enough, unlike me, to make sure you had the correct name that you could get it on all socials before. Like I went, well, Instagram's a nightmare anyways. You put a space and it's underscore, but very, very smart on that. So I want to talk to you a little bit. Did you get into the Grand Cherokee Summit?
We took the Grand Cherokee L Overland out.
The Overland out. Okay. I got to do the Summit, and man, I was so impressed with that vehicle. Like
absolutely.
Jeep is, I mean, the Grand Cherokee's always kind of had a nice factor, but they, with the Summit, man, it just like they stepped it up, and the price considering what all you're getting, and it is pretty reasonable, and it's a fairly big vehicle with 3-row seating. But I was kind of comparing it with the, just the Wagoneer, because somewhat priced similar, but you are getting a bigger with a V8, and I would go with the smaller SUV in that category all day long, man. How was the Overland?
So I have driven. So the two that were there are in the press fleet that I have access to. So I have driven both of those exact rigs on road already. In fact, I have a video up on our channel more so focused on. I had to correct you because I've been corrected so many times. It was a Summit Reserve.
Oh,
you got to be sure to get that one right. It was a Summit Reserve. Which is like the tippy top of all that is Jeep Grand Cherokee L. But yes, the interior. So Jeep prides themselves on being the most awarded SUV of all time,
right?
In the Grand Cherokee. And at the little event that we had, it was a virtual event with Scott Tone and the heads of the Jeep brand. They were talking about how like 75% of those shopping in that mid-size segment demand a third row. And before the L and before the Wagoneer, Jeep had nothing. It's been about 10 years since they had that Commander. There's actually one just a couple blocks behind me right now. But Jeep had no 3-row vehicles. And so they filled a void in their lineup. And chip shortage be darned. I'm already seeing plenty around here in East Texas. So people are snatching them up. They did want that, and they were just clamoring for it. And like you said, the interiors are so plush and so posh that I love the interior design direction that Jeep is taking, because they've also upgraded the 2022 Jeep Compass, which looks like a baby Grand Cherokee anyway.
Right.
And made the interior look just the same there. So yes, Jeep is hitting it out of the park with their interior.
Which I was sad I didn't get to play with that. And of course, it was an embargoed vehicle, so you know nothing could really come too much out about it. But I was kind of sad I didn't get into that. But I was spending so much time with the Jeep brand already, because they own this event right now. They bring everything. And
yes, so that's kind of been a point of conversation in Tawa. I'm going to pull up my hit list of everything that we recorded, because we had an abundance of Stellantis products as well. And it's just kind of the way it is. Matt and I joked on the podcast we recorded last night that will drop next Friday, because we wanted to talk embargoed Tundra stuff.
Right.
But Nissan was well represented there as well. They had like 4 Frontiers, a Titan, the Pathfinder, and the Infiniti QX60 there. So
QX60 autograph, sir.
Yes.
We're gonna get all
correct me on the Summit Reserve. So yeah.
I'm amazed. I will say I'm amazed how long these names are getting for these things. It's like, can we just somehow? I don't need a paragraph.
You're setting these marketing people loose with all kinds of things, and they just keep getting longer. But yeah,
sure.
So vehicles that we got our hands on: Hyundai Santa Cruz. Everybody wanted that one as well. We got into both Tundras, the 1794 and the Limited with the TRD off-road. We drove the Wagoneer Series 2, so not the Grand Wagoneer.
The white one?
The Rubicon, Yes.
Yeah, I got it in that one.
The Rubicon 392, Wrangler 4xe, Ram 2500 Limited with that max cab on it, and the Power Wagon, which I adored. GMC Denali, Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, Gladiator Texas Trail, Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, Ram TRX, Nissan Pathfinder, and Maserati Levante Trofeo.
So
Yeah.
tell me about this Maserati a little bit, because obviously it's $160,000 SUV, and it's built basically by Ferrari, but
Yes.
I could never find the thing. Like, people were scooping that one up as fast as they could.
So we wanted to actually jump in those first on day one. Really early day one, because we wanted to put that in the Alfa Romeo side by side, the two Italians that are there. And we didn't get that. Like, vehicles on our hit list started dropping like flies as soon as we got out there. But so we took them out independently of one another. And that was actually the last vehicle we drove, which had its perks because we were also the last ones to drive it. And while, yes, it is built by Ferrari, yes, it has a sport and Corsa mode and launch control and all that good stuff that you would expect from a performance, we're going to call it a tall sedan crossover. It also had 2 off-road height modes on the adjustable suspension.
Right.
And I saw it off-road, and we got to take it off-road because, again, we were the last ones there. And he said it would do everything on the course if they had properly prepared wheels and tires, because it had 22s with low pro tires. And it wasn't going to be doing much of that, which was also the story we heard last year. There was a $420,000 Rolls-Royce Cullinan there that also did not have the proper tires to do everything, but could have.
Right. Yeah, no, they don't skimp on these things. And guys, let's see. John says, was this event like going to Disneyland? You wait hours and hours and hours just to get in the line to drive the Tundra? Yes, pretty much.
Yes.
It's like Disneyland opening up. So you do all these drivers meetings and stuff, and they prepare you for the day. Hey, here's do's and don'ts. You can, don't let this out of the bag just yet. And they didn't really say into their drivers meeting, and you just see people just start quickly just darting off, and you knew what that was about. They were all going for the Toyota or the hot vehicles of the day, and I will say I was a little disappointed I could never find the Hyundai, the Santa Fe.
You never got the Santa Fe or Santa Cruz?
The Santa Cruz, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. That ended up being the very first vehicle we drove out there. And so if you know anything about my co-host Matt, he's a big Fomoco fan, and head over heels does not even begin to describe how he feels about the Ford Maverick.
Right.
So getting into the only vehicle that really competes head-to-head with the Maverick was high on his want list.
Right.
So when we saw that our first choices were disappearing right in front of our eyes, we hopped in that thing first. So we got pictures and video of it before it ever got dirty, and then proceeded to get it dirty.
Nice. And that has to be great for your channel too. When I don't think you've dropped anything on that just yet, have you?
No, we've just posted. So Hyundai was smart. I see what they're doing. Their marketing team was very good. There was a photo contest for the Santa Cruz. So I've got 3 posts on Instagram if you want to go check us out at GT Garage Talk and see a little bit of the behind the scenes of what we got to do with the Santa Cruz.
Nice.
And capable little rig. I'm not going to lie. Little 2.5 turbo 4, dual clutch transmission, locking rear differential, hill descent control. It has enough tech on it to get you into trouble.
And smart of that company too. Let's don't go full midsize or real full size truck. Let's just, because I think they know
that white space.
Yeah, they know, and I know Nissan tried to play in that little weird space with the XD when they were doing something like that. Like, they're finding niches, but this is a better niche for those kind of companies who don't really do trucks.
Right, and a good like dipping their toe in the water kind of thing, just to show, okay, here are some of the technologies we have at our disposal, and if you or any of the viewers of this have ever driven a current generation Hyundai or Genesis or Kia product, they are just knocking it out of the park. Interior refinement, quality, design, top notch. I'm yet to find one of those three brands that I'm just like, you know what, swing and a miss.
Right.
So just all around becoming very impressed with the brand, which is hard for me to reconcile in my brain because growing up, my dad had a 1997 Kia Sophia, champagne gold, no options, 5-speed manual, and that was his work car. And yeah, so I still have images of the Kia Sophia in my head. And I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, and
this is the same brand?
and even Hyundai when it first came out was a very like their idea was, hey, we're affordable, you know, we're cheap, and like you said, they've really rebranded. You know, all in the starting around the late 2000s, they just decided, hey, they went and plucked a nice designer and just stopped copying people and decided, hey, we're gonna do our own thing. If people buy it, they buy it.
Yeah, they've been stealing designers from like Audi and I believe Alex on Auto's channel I follow actually pointed out that there are some Europe-only Mercedes-Benz products that straight up stole Kia Telluride styling.
Really?
And it's crazy now that the big boys, quote unquote, like Mercedes-Benz, are stealing design cues from Kia. Like, we long gone are the days of the Kia Sophia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, what was is that the one that was sort of copying the Mercedes? They used to have a four-door sedan that was very much copying Mercedes, except for it just said Kia, or I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the Equus. No, not the Equus. That was a Hyundai before there were Genesis. Yes, I can see it in my head, and I'm just like, oh god, that thing was hideous.
Yeah, it was like a cheap knockoff.
Oh yeah, and that was probably around the turning point. Is Kia put that thing out? It's gonna drive me crazy. I'm gonna have to Google it now. But yeah, Kia put that thing out, and everybody was just like, "What on earth are they doing?" And then all of a sudden, they started putting out good-looking product after good-looking product, and
The only problem I've had with those two brands is basically the bringing the Genesis line around, because you know the Genesis was the little coupe at one point, then they tried to go super high end with it, then they changed it to this and that, and finally it seems like that brand just finally has a reason for Genesis, and man, they've had some nice SUVs out at the event.
Yeah, so that was one of the sad points for me is they had the GV70 out there, which is the new smaller than midsize. It's smaller, obviously, by naming, smaller than the GV80, and kind of on the performance side of things. And we did not get to drive it, but it is what it is. It's the Kia Amante.
There you go.
2004 to 2009 Kia Amante.
Yeah.
Which, yes, looks like a straight up copy of an E-Class of the era. And yes, what were they thinking at that time? So there you go.
Well,
instant gratification.
So what was another one of your high points of the event?
So you're gonna like this being a Nissan guy. I would say spoiler alert for all of our future content, but Matt and I both were most impressed by the Nissan Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Walking out of that event, knowing where Nissan was, where they are, and where they intend to go, pretty much every single one of their products right now is not ground up brand new, but is one step shy of that. So like the 2022 Frontier rides on essentially the same platform, but everything else is new. The new Z is essentially all new except for the frame. Like, so everything is built on the bones of old, but everything you see, touch, interact with is brand new. And so the outgoing Pathfinder was very much a civilian, round the town mall crawler.
Yeah. And
this new one is leaning heavy into the boxy design, masculine lines, and just an overall rugged presence to it, and it had the chops to back it up. So everything it was allowed to do out on the course, because there were some serious technical obstacles out there,
right,
that you needed some major ground clearance to be able to handle. But everything it was allowed to do, it did perfectly. And compared to some of the competition that was out there, so I'm thinking Jeep Grand Cherokee L, it's the only other really three-row in the segment. It severely undercut it on price, which I believe is the niche that Nissan is finding themselves in.
Right.
As I mentioned, we also drove the Frontier Pro 4X, and Matt and I recently pitted head-to-head. The video's not out yet, but it's coming. The TRD Pro Tacoma versus the Ford Ranger with the trimmer off-road package. Both of those trucks were $47,000. That Frontier Pro 4X, 41. So, and just both of those Nissan products just really, the Frontier was light, fun, playful, and didn't take itself too seriously. And it was a breath of fresh air with some of the rigs out there that maybe you had to, I don't want to say baby a little bit, but like the Tundras, we knew we were the first ones driving it, and all the stuff going around with them. Very much looking forward to getting one on our home turf to really wing out a little bit. But,
well, and I was talking,
Nissan.
But so some of these vehicles, I was talking to, I want to say it was Toyota PR, because there was some discussion going on about, the TRD package needing an aggressive looking tire. That some of these manufacturers I think consumers feel like they're missing the mark a little bit. And
it is so funny that you bring that up, because I went on a rant on, I believe it's today's podcast that dropped today, just about how they're watering down the FX4, the Z71, the Pro
Right.
4X, and the TRD, because they're stopping short and they're not putting decent tires. You can put all the electronic equipment on there that you want. If you're stopping short and not putting the proper tires on it, all that is for naught. And so, I went on a little mini rant. So, yes.
Well, and so where I go with this is so Toyota, I was talking to them about it, and they were like, hey, look, we do not want to get dinged on the first 6 month customer reactions, the feedback we're getting. And when we put more aggressive tires on there that look great, people complain road noise, this and that. It's just too loud. Oh, the truck shakes. And yes, so and I have a feeling it's across the board that a lot of these manufacturers like, look, we'll put more of a street tire on there. If somebody's buying the off-road package, they're more than likely want their own tire on there anyway. So let them go take the hit on that. But yeah, I was watching the Pro 4X Frontiers out on the course, and they were having a little bit of issues. Not some of it is driver, but they were having some issues with traction. It's because the General AT, I think they're putting on there. It's just not by any means aggressive. And even the TRD stuff, the TRD Pro tires they're putting on there, they just look like street tires.
Yeah, again, going back to the vehicle we drove to the event was our loaner FX4 King Ranch F-150, and it had Pirelli Scorpions on it that had road treads, like hands down, meant to be on the road. And I'm like, so this FX4 means what now? Because it wasn't right, and
Right.
it didn't fit. And my rant on our podcast was that all these brands are wanting you to trade up.
Mm-hmm.
So Ford now has the trimmer package, and Chevy's got the Trail Boss, and now the ZR2, and TRD Pro is its own thing now in all, pretty much all Toyota off-road vehicles. So like they're just wanting to trade you up that final step up the ladder, and really teasing you with all the goodies in those. So yeah, they're kind of watering down what has become the more mainstream off-road package in favor of trading customers up. And in the market that we're in, the Bronco hungry nation that we're in, everybody wants the cool off-roady looking one.
Yeah.
Whether or not it can actually do it is beside the point. To your point, they want it to look cool, but they don't want all the sacrifices that come with it.
Well, speaking of sacrifices, Toyota brought out the 4Runner, and that thing needs to be sacrificed, man. Unfortunately, I mean, I love the vehicle. I wish Corey could see my face. He can't see my face right now. I love the vehicle and the years that thing has brought, the fun and adventure it's taken on people. But man, I did some time in it, and I mostly did the time in it because I wanted the color. the lime rush color that they have on that,
Yes.
which I think there was two versions. The Tacoma version's a lot nicer looking. It's a deeper, darker green.
So they shared with us because the Forerunner is produced in Japan, it needed its own color code name and all that stuff. So it's just slightly different. And yes, to your point, it was a little lighter, a little less deep of a green. And yes, the Tacoma had the better of the two hues for sure.
But so I did some time in that Forerunner, man, and most of the interior holds up. Some of the tech, for one, the shifter, I hate that shifter. It's got all these notches, and it's just, I just need to go forward and reverse, man. I don't need like a transformer move to get it to go into drive. But I happened to, we were doing some testing where, especially the wife, she loves backup cameras. That's part of the features she likes of a car. And the tech in that thing, man, the camera is so old. I mean, it looked like 2010. It was that bad. And I was like, man, they've really kept this thing refreshed a little bit and nice, but yet they don't seem to want to do anything with the tech in that. But I think we get one next year anyways, we're hinted at a new Forerunner.
Yeah, I saw teased Car and Driver pretends to already have the inside scoop on the 23 Tacomas, and as the Tacoma goes, so does the Forerunner.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be really nice to see those two dinosaurs of the world truly get an update, because 2016 the Tacoma got as extensive a refresh as it could,
mm-hmm.
while still riding on the same platform. And I believe Toyota calls it a different generation truck, but those of us who know really kind of say, yeah, but it's the same truck.
Right.
And I mean, it works. It's the sales leader. It's hard. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's where Toyota's been, but they're getting to the point where the competition has really stepped up the game. Got the Tremors of the world and the ZR2s of the world, and Nissan finally said, you know what, we're investing in the segment again. So I'm here for it. Unfortunately, I think that segment has kind of priced itself into obscurity.
Yeah, it's getting tougher to want to buy a mid-sized truck when the full size. And for me, I'm an off-road guy. I want a smaller vehicle to do what I want to do with it. But if you look at, you get $50,000 into a mid-size now. $50,000 will get you a pretty nice F-150.
Or Silverado with the V8. That sounds proper. Like it's just, I had to throw that in there. I'm a Chevy guy. So,
I love the Trail Boss is probably my favorite full-size truck right now. So,
hey, there you go. We're still looking to get our hands on a tester. I've test driven around town with local dealers, but looking to crack that.
GM's a little difficult. Their PR department's a little difficult to get in with.
Yeah, that's a story unto itself.
So let's see. So did you get to do any time in the electric side-by-side?
So Matt drove it. I rode along in it. The Tuatara, as it was called. And you could tell the salesman guy that we're riding around in with it is very passionate about what he does. It's a California-based company. And one of my favorite things, and Matt's too, was just how simple it was and how mechanical it was. So talking about, switching into 4-low and stuff like that, like there was a lever, and so much technology has crept their way into these full-size and mid-size rigs that Tacoma TRD Pro that we had for testing could not get it in and out of 4-low. The Frontier we had could not get it into and then could not get it back out of 4-low because it has that electronic shift on the fly. And you've got to hold your mouth just right and leg up in the air and do this and that just to make it. So it's refreshing when things are mechanical and you can just hit it a little harder and it works. But impressive little rigs. And we talked to them a little bit about, okay, what's use case for these? And they say they're really heavy into marketing to schools for athletic departments, running around on football fields and picking up injured players and hauling stuff out and stuff like that. So
yeah, because players are getting so heavy anymore. You need a full-size truck almost to get them out of there.
Yes.
So I appreciate you being on here, man. I'll let you go in just a second, but we got to talk Tacoma or Tundra just a hair
Okay.
because I've had a bunch of people asking about the Tundra, and when you see the thing in person, it's not as bad as the initial pictures were kind of made it out to be. I think I'm hearing a lot of press friends discussing it, and they all nailed kind of where I was like, if you body match the bottom, kind of the chin of the grill, I think it would look more like a Forerunner. The way the grill's
Yeah.
shaped, it would tone that
Yeah.
down just a little bit. But Toyota, in their wisdom, thought, hey, let's make this thing
Let's
look
go
as big as
bold.
possible. Yeah, of course. And Toyota's known to go bold, which is very unusual for a Japanese company. They are usually pretty conservative. Um,
I mean, their grills lately. Have you seen the Avalon TRD Sport?
yeah.
It's insane. So yeah,
The Toyota CEO said, "Stop with the boring." He
yeah.
he made it a case to we're going to do something fun. Um, but this thing on the outside, once you look at it, it's very nice. You do see it kind of a tribute to the last Tundra, which I think was Nissan's mistake with the new Titan, is they just wiped the slate clean, and it shouldn't have been called a Titan. They could have called this something else, and you would have never known any difference. But Toyota was smart. You look at the hips of it, the fenders, they do play into the last Tundra a little bit. Um, Other than that, they took some chances. Like I think the rear taillights, which haven't got a lot of talk, I'm not a big fan of those. They'll grow on me, but it's just such a big blob of red.
It is. I'm kind of a fan of the three bars
Mm-hmm.
and trying something a little bit different, especially when you've got. I think Ram and Ford are probably the most guilty of it. The way they incorporate the blind spot monitoring,
Right.
where it's just a blob of color, uh, doesn't light up, doesn't do anything. So Toyota hit all that in there very nice, and it's different, which is the story of the whole truck, I
Right.
believe.
Oh no, definitely. Yeah, they didn't like Nissan was definitely with the Titan copied a lot of other manufacturers and tried to bring it in, and Toyota once again said we're just doing our own thing. The interior of both of those they had there was just freaking nice. I think by far, if I were to pick up a Tacoma or a Tundra, that the 1794 from what I seen of it. Now they were still prototype versions, so there was a few fit and finishes. They said, hey, these are going to change. They knocked it out of the park. The only thing I don't like, and I was watching Pickup Truck Plus SUVs talk where Tim did a more extensive walk around with it. The baser version, the SR5, and maybe it was a limited, but it had the normal tack in a center cluster. I don't like it at all. Even the little tech center of it looks old. But the one with the
So
digital
if you get
dash,
the
nice.
hybrid in, yeah, if you get the hybrid engine at all, you get the digital gauge cluster. So that's a paired option. So just something to know. I will say I've got three giant packs of paper here. I can only show you the backside of it. There's one, two, three of all the embargoed information that I want to share.
Right.
Uh, Basically, we have a build and price sheet
You're right.
on these, and we know exactly what comes with what and
Mhm.
how. And yeah, some of the options are kind of surprising what is and is not allowed. Um, People are so they've positioned the TRD Pro as the top dog,
Right.
which may or may not be a misstep because it omits some luxury features, which um, if you're talking the top trim, you would expect everything on it.
Right.
I believe it's safe to say that it doesn't have leather seats. It's got the Softex, which I know we've got two sitting at the State Fair of Texas right now that people can get in and check out. So I'm not spoiling anything there. But you're missing the Softex seats. You're missing cooled rear seats in the TRD Pro. But you can get it in both the Platinum and the 1794. So if you're looking for a luxury off-roader, lean more into the Platinum and 1794 with the TRD off-road package, and you'll be more than satisfied.
I think for me, like out of the two I was able to see, I think the 1794 for me was just the best of everything. The interior of it was nice. I like that it's not screaming Toyota in the passenger's face. I think that's a miss on Toyota. That's just too big on the the TRDs, but I like even the badging wasn't really screaming at you. It was nice and classy. The interior, all the touch features were really, really nice. And I think the big, what is it, a 14-inch monitor they have in that thing fits well into that vehicle. There's even like the TRX with the way they've done it. It's not bad, but the Toyota, for me, they made more use out of it. Like you're getting full use of that.
Absolutely. So this is the first implementation in a Toyota product. The 2022 Lexus NX is the first Toyota product to feature this new totally in-house designed infotainment system. And one of my favorite things is you can make the entire 14-inch display Apple CarPlay, and you're not wasting any space. So a little behind the scenes, we drove there again in a Ford King Ranch that has a 12-inch, 12-inch infotainment screen, and about eight inches of that was Apple CarPlay, and then it was Ford stuff all around it. I traded that in and got an Expedition press vehicle with an 8-inch display, and it's the exact same CarPlay size layout. It just doesn't have all the auxiliary stuff around it. So I'm like, okay, let's split the difference here and just fill it up with CarPlay. So I'm liking what I have seen so far from the Toyota interfaces, and I believe that's all I can share at this point because I have seen the extent of what I've just said out on the internet already.
Right. I will say we're embargoed to what we can and cannot talk about on this thing, but what was a little upsetting is we're sitting here on all this video footage and we're trying to do this for a living. And then you see 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, there was Toyota had their dealers out and all this stuff's already out there. They're driving it. You hear them getting into it, squealing tires. And I'm over here going, I can't talk about it, man. But yet you let your dealers just put it everywhere.
Well, I do believe the Tundra is notorious for having dealer faux pas in its press release, to the point that Toyota even had to scramble and readjust their marketing strategy. And they showed us one probably prior to them actually wanting to, because a dealer leaked images of a red one all over the internet.
Oh, is that the one from the shipping yard?
No, this was even before that.
Oh, okay.
So they had their dealers come into the Plano head office, and it was a TRD Pro model, and everyone that was also invited to see that same truck attested to, yep, this is it.
Yeah.
We have pictures. We just were told not to share it. And then a day later, Toyota dropped a picture of a white one.
Yeah.
And said, well, the cat's out of the bag. Here you go.
Right. Which is all they could do. Jeep, when Jeep, the Cherokee came back, there was somebody within the plant dropped pictures of that. And Jeep did everything they could do to say, no, that's not it at all. I don't know what you're talking about. You're like, it literally says Jeep on the steering wheel. I can see it.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, they just had to go, okay, here it is. And which kind of stinks because I dropped a picture of what the Frontier was going to look like last April. I got a lot of trouble with Nissan about it, but dealers, and which is where I got it, dealers push and push and push. They want this stuff out. They like knowing the inside, here's where the company's going. But sometimes dealers want to sell vehicles, and some things are getting old and stagnant, and dealers find a way to make the companies do what they want them to do. But it's kind of, I was doing some research on that Tundra, and I was like, damn, there's dealers with video, where they took them around their little test track there, and I can't talk about it.
Yep. I've got several people that's like been my standard response on our interior walk around that I just posted yesterday, before, whenever it was. People are saying, what about this? What about that? And can't talk about it. Can't talk about it.
Yeah.
And someone's like, well, I've seen video of them driving it around. And I was like, cool for them. I can't talk about it. I'm sorry. So I'm following the rules because I want one.
Yeah. And they will, if you're listening and don't know what it's like to be a reporter, they will blackball you for a bit. Now, places like TFL got their hands spanked a little bit, and they got kind of in a shouting match with Ford about what they did. And I think at the end, Ford kind of cowered down to him a little bit and was like, all right, you're a pretty big voice. We'll let you play
Yeah,
ball
when
again.
you've got a million subs or as near as a million subs on multiple
Yeah.
platforms, yes, you,
Yeah, our smaller channels, guess what, guys? They were blackballed for a long time. So you got to play by their rules, which is fine, really.
yep, yeah.
Um
I like I said, I truly appreciate Toyota even making this happen because
yes.
again, we were the first journalists to get our hands on them, and they're just trying to level the playing field because they knew that this big media event was coming,
Mhm.
and had made all these promises to the people invited to that.
Oh yeah,
So
those
when
were
you
big
hear of
hitters.
embargoed, yeah, when
Edmonds
you
and a lot of big hitters.
yeah when you hear of embargoed content, it's simply to level the playing field. And sometimes it works in our benefit because sometimes admins and the car drivers and motor trends and all the big quote unquote big players are the ones that have to sit and wait for us to get a chance to drive it too. So
Yes.
it works both ways, and it's just the game you have to play. And um, if it's what it takes for me to get to drive some of the coolest vehicles
Right.
known to man, I'll play along.
Right. Well, let's final question for you, man. I do appreciate your time, on
Yeah.
such short notice here, I guess. What was kind of the one car that you saw there and you were just like, nah? Because for me, I love Subaru, but for me, it was just like Subaru's soft attempt at like even being there, and the rep there was freaking amazing. Super nice guy. Subaru,
Shout
he
out to
he'll
Chuck.
yeah, he'll explain to you, hey man, Subaru doesn't have a lot of money for this kind of stuff. We know our audience. We're not spending. We're a small company. And so for them to be there was awesome. But I was just I have to say, I guess maybe it was GM. I won't ding Subaru because GM brought, what was it? No, Suburban, no, the
It was
Buick.
a Yukon XL Denali with the diesel
Yeah.
and a Buick Encore GX.
And we're lucky the diesel made it there because they are having such a issue with those diesels breaking down with low mileage. It's a wonder it got there.
So, to your Subaru point, we drove no Subarus at this event because the one we most wanted to drive, we already have a video out of, and that is the Outback Wilderness. We were able to get our hands on one through a local dealer friend and took it out to our testing grounds for off road vehicles, and we were blown away.
Right.
And in fact, the day we showed up out there, we had gotten a comment that someone canceled their order on a TRD Pro, I don't know what, probably Tacoma, and ordered an Outback Wilderness. And it is a spectacular package. Posh and comfortable inside, very comfortable vehicle because it's essentially a car that has been lifted and it looks like it's up doing what's the ballerina move where you stand on your tiptoes. That's what it looks like almost.
Right.
It's a little jarring at first because you're not used to seeing an Outback sitting so high. It has 9.5 inches of ground clearance, and we had a 4Runner TRD Pro right next to it that had 9.6. So very impressed with what Subaru is doing with that wilderness trim. We did not get to see the Forester Wilderness, but that is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very excited about what Subaru is doing in the off-road space. But yes, to answer your question, unfortunately, as a GM fanboy, I kind of have to ding the General for their lack of participation in this. But they were there. So there was a lot of discussion. They weren't there last year because of the virus. I'll just leave it at that. Same with Ford. Ford's been out, I believe, since 18 was their last showing. And multiple different reasons, internal conversations,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But the General showed up in April at the car-based auto roundup and brought an Escalade ESV and a Buick Encore GX, and turned around and in the fall essentially brought the same thing. Matt and I did drive the Denali
Mm-hmm.
only because it had the diesel engine. If it had any other engine, we both looked at each other. We're like, we've got the Escalade content already.
Yeah.
Why do we need to drive this? Which I will say, they all have their unique interior and exterior designs, of which I believe the Denali has the best interior of the three GM triplets.
Mm-hmm.
But we looked at what GM brought, and I was like,
Yeah. Like
I'm sorry, but no thanks.
what was the little Buick they brought?
Encore GX.
Yes, which is
So
such a hot car that
yeah,
I thought it was.
they're
I thought it was somebody's
clamoring.
personal car that just got mixed in the line there.
Yeah, my wife's 2014 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk would have fit in that lineup a little better than that Encore did.
Right.
So
So JD's asking, when can we talk about it? I believe it's next Tuesdays when the embargo is
next
over.
Tuesday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, you will see video after video after video drop from all your favorite YouTubers. I have noticed, I'm not going to call them out, but you can probably figure out who. There is a channel that maybe schedules their video to post like 5 minutes early. They
Yes.
set it as a premiere. I will not be doing that on the GT Garage Talk. I will follow again all the rules
Right.
and get all of the blessings.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm not pushing anybody's buttons on this because like I said, everybody's going to drop it at the same time. I probably won't, honestly. I'll talk about it cuz I'll probably do a live show that night, but I'm not worried too much about what people think of my take on it. It's it's a great vehicle. So what more can you say? It's a Toyota. What more can you say, you know?
yeah,
And it is
and
everything
that,
you expect it to be.
yep.
So there you go. Well, dude, I appreciate you being on here tonight. I know you're editing, and I
Absolutely.
appreciate you at least stopping by. And yes, dude, I saw this at
Thankful
the
for the
airport.
opportunity.
I saw the shirt at the airport. Of course, you can't see me holding it up, but I saw it and I was like, I have to have this shirt, man. And
Yep. I appreciate the one you were wearing out at the event too.
oh, of course,
So
man, Texas strong, brother.
stocking up on that Texas stuff,
Oh,
man.
well,
Yeah.
hey, Texas was really. I was gonna move in the '90s. Big blues fan. I'm a blues musician, and I thought, man, Austin. I want to move to Austin because I'm a huge Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. The Freddie King and all this stuff. They were all from that area, and I wanted to be kind of in that part. I guess be Austin weird or keep Austin weird, whatever their slogan
Keep
is.
Austin weird. Yeah.
And I wanted to be part of that, and just didn't happen for me. And so I literally, the first thing I did, I went out there and I had to go to the park in Austin where the statue is of Stevie Ray Vaughan. And that's literally, I drove from the airport and was like, be damned or hell or high water, I'm going to see at least this. And I wanted to get to Antone's, and I just wanted to kind of see the club. And there's a lot of cool things. And Austin is a freaking amazing town. Now, there's a little bit of hobos around Austin, but after that, like, the town is booming.
It is. And I believe it was, I've been reading reports. I've not done my due diligence, so I could be completely wrong on this, but I think it's confirmed that Elon is officially moving HQ to Austin now. So I will say, driving out I did the Ford Bronco event that you and I talked about last time I was on. Driving out there for that event, we drove by the Gigafactory.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
that place is massive, and
that's for Cybertruck, if I remember right.
Cybertruck and Model Y is really what they're going to be cranking out of that one. But yes,
Well, I know they can't seem to get out of California fast enough. I know that.
We're hearing that a lot, and I'm sure you are there in Tennessee. We're like the two go-to states
Isn't that crazy?
for businesses that are fleeing. So.
And I have to say, Austin is in Nashville, very similar, even the feel of the towns. They're just very, very similar towns.
It's that music vibe that goes with both of them. So, yeah.
Well, dude,
if you're out the East Texas way, be sure and stop by. We've got some fun places we could take you around.
Hey, man, I've loved Dallas. Dallas was the first town I've ever been in Texas, and it holds a nice little place in my heart. I used to sell vintage guitars, and there was a huge vintage guitar show. I don't remember the big convention area, but I sold a first year production Fender Stratocaster, 1954 Stratocaster there for $14,000. And it was a highlight. It's one of the highlights of me selling anything. But now that guitar is $150,000 guitar. So, I love Texas music, everything about it. So, I'm coming back. I'm already excited for the spring event, man.
Yeah, I saw you comment on that. So be excited to see you again, at least for that.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I'll be a little more on my home turf. That's typically held in the DFW area. So that's only a 2-hour jaunt for me versus the 4.5 down to Austin.
Yeah. Well, I think it probably for both of us, it was well worth it. So guys,
Absolutely.
if you haven't yet, I always say this: go to Corey's channel, GT Garage Talk Garage. Right? I'm horrible.
Yep. GT Garage Talk.
And go subscribe, man. He breaks things down way better than I'm ever going to. And I've said it many times. I want to show excitement from it, but Corey really breaks these vehicles down. And if you want the no to, go see Corey's channel and check him out.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Of course, man. Well, till next time, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you when I see you.
All right, later, man.
Bye.
There you go, guys. There was Mr. Corey. I seriously appreciate you. And guys, reporters and stuff, we watch each other's stuff, and I like bringing people in. Sometimes they're like, give me like 5 minutes, but I like bringing different people in. Tim Esterthal with Pickup Truck and SUV Talk likes to stop in from time to time, and we've had others with TFL's joined us every once in a while, and greatly appreciate everybody out there. If you have any questions or comments, bring them in. That was unexpected, but I definitely wanted to talk shop with Corey there because, like I said, their channel gets into things a little deeper than I'm going to, and it's because we're just completely different. We're just different people, and I'm an off-roader by heart. I'm a racer. Danny, when he's on the show, he's definitely a racer. And that's kind of, we like the excitement part of this. And I want to cover vehicles, but I want to do it my way. And some of these others, they have their own ways, and they're more technical. But Garage Talk is definitely one. So I was asked, okay, you want to know, JD? Oh. All right. Let's see. I used to have in my Nissan studio when I had it in a different location. I had the Strat hanging up there, but I keep one of my favorite guitars, a little crappy Silvertone, right here. I don't even know if it's in tune. Not at all. I don't even want to try to tune it with headphones on. But I do always have a guitar with me, and this is one of my favorite little guitars to play blues on, and so. The guitar is always around, trust me. And to be honest, I haven't exactly, how I'm going to finish the studio. So, small area, but I had somebody come in the other day, and they were like, "Wow, it looks bigger on TV." And it's like, well, trust me, work with what you got, man. So I could probably hang a guitar up there, but I don't know. I think it might take away from the fun of the cars. So anyways, let's see. Thank you, Dr. Detroit. Corey is a awesome dude, and I was happy. Tim Esterthal put us together, and I was happy to get to know Corey, especially meeting. Sometimes you talk to people over the internet, and you build a rapport, and you're like, I bet that dude's a stand-up guy. But Corey and Matt, man, I got to meet them, and truly stand-up guys, man. I really liked it. And like I said at the beginning, seeing how they operate, and they're a smaller channel, man. They're just getting going. And, though they do both have years of experience, seeing how they operate was very, very impressive. So I'll definitely emulate some of the things you're going to see on their channel. Let's see. Austin says, what were your thoughts on the 392, and did it have the factory half doors? No. So JD, thank you so much, man. That means a lot to the channel. Austin, let's see. The 392, no, it did not have the half doors. It had full doors. I want to say they probably had some rain or something. It did have the once again, it had the top, the center canvas that would slide back, but it was the hard top. That was actually kind of cool. That, for a guy who's been riding around in Jeeps here lately, that feature was actually something I might, if I bought a Wrangler, look into, because it was handy. It really was. It was just kind of like, because sometimes taking the doors off or the roof off is a pain in the ass, man. So definitely that. And let me pull up my notes on this, Austin, because I know you're gonna want to know some things about this, and I don't want to be completely, a complete idiot about this. All right, there's my 392 notes. Nope, hey, that's Rubicon. What am I doing? Off-road vehicles of Texas. Where you at? That Power Wagon was a beast they had there. Let's see. Oh, man, I gotta put some stickies on these things so I can quickly go through my notes. The 392 Austin is everything you would think it is and more. To hear you start that engine up, and it's not a Hellcat, but it's the starting of one. To hear that thing rumble, the tuning of the exhaust is spot on. I mean, spot on. It's you get into that thing and you can feel it wanting to it'll whip you around. It'll whip you sideways pretty easily if you weren't very careful. But no, it's the price tag of that thing, and that's what I'm trying to find my notes as we tested it. That's the kind of bummer about it. I think you could almost swap engines cheaper than you can buy this thing. Did you know the F8 Overland trim gets a sway disconnect? I did not get to mess with the Overland trim. I bet it is a pain to live in an apartment because it was a pain having my Jeep at Windrock, and of course it was raining, so I couldn't take the roof and all that off, but I had plans on it, and that was a pain knowing where was I going to store this stuff. So I think that's one thing that maybe Bronco does a little better, even though I think the tops themselves aren't as the thought process is well thought out as maybe Jeep has, but I think the ability, the way the Bronco does, is a little bit better. And man, this is killing me. Offer vehicle text. There it is. 392. All right. So, starting MSRP on this 392 is $74,400. $74,000 for a Wrangler. If you would have told me 10 years ago there'd be a $74,000 base MSRP, I would have been like, you're crazy. But as tested was $83,000. Now, like Corey said, it was the extreme package. Let's see. No, I'm David. I'm such an idiot, guys. Oh, here's why. They've got their notes mixed up, man. They've got 2021 Jeep 392 Rubicon, and it's the electric one. Anyways, it was expensive and well worth it. I would totally have one. If you could buy, it had the 315 17 wheels on it, so it definitely had the small 35s. But with that big V8, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I want to say that was the second to last vehicle I ended up with that day. And once again, the video I'll do on it won't be beat you over the head with tech about it, because you've seen one Jeep. Honestly, in the interior, you've seen about damn near all of the Wranglers and Gladiators. So there was no new news there, but just the excitement of driving it and Kelly getting to drive it and her seeing her excitement about it, because this was Kelly's first press trip with us, and she's gone now. She's out traveling, or I would have her sit in with us and talk a little bit about it. But yes, a warranted V8 is nice. You do have a point there, but I think these guys dropping the Hellcats in there, or maybe a Hellfant in those, is probably a little more impressive when you put it in 4 high and completely wear out all the tires. Oh, sorry. Speaking of that, Kelly's texting me. But that was a very, very nice vehicle. I think, though, ultimately, my takeaway from this event was there was a lot of cool vehicles there. I've done time in the Frontier. I think the Frontier is a night and day improvement. Even though me and Corey were talking there, it's like some of the underpinning is the same thing they've ran for 17 years. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Frontier turning radius could always be better. That's one of the bummers about that vehicle, is the turning radius. And it's not horrible, but it just feels like versus some of the other brands, it could be a little bit better. Let's see. They had the Pro X there, which I did not do any time in, because you've seen the Pro 4X. Why do you want to do a 2-wheel drive truck, especially in Texas with an off-road course? The Acura MDX was fun. First time me getting to mess with the MDX. So, that was really, really nice. I did a little clip that we dropped on, TikTok today or last night. And yes, we do have a TikTok. If you are on that app, you can find us that way. Instagram's my home for pictures, man. I love Instagram for that stuff. and Facebook, obviously. But let's see, what else did we have here? Because I had my list up. I apologize. Let's see. The Tundra 1794. Once again, what I can talk about it. The thing is just amazing. It's Toyota quality, and the line of sight, everything about it looks great when you're sitting in the seat. I think when the reviews come out next Tuesday, you're going to really be excited. And I know Corey's going to have one. Tim will have one. I'll have something small. But like I said earlier, my SUV of the year is that Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit Summit L Reserve. That thing for $68,000 as tested was everything and more. I would like to have a better engine than the 3.6. Nothing wrong with that engine. I would have liked to have it just a hair more oomph. But the ride comfort quality, everything about that, the center stack, Jeep's center stack dash now is I think some of the best in the business. And I mean, yes, guys, I have a Jeep outside, but I'm not a fanboy of Jeep by any means. But if you're looking for a high-end luxury, the Infiniti, the QX60, the MDX, in those areas, do yourself a favor, go to your Jeep dealership and check this vehicle out. The Speedo in this thing was just lights out. It's the exact same thing they're doing in the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer. I just like it. It's simple. The thing I think, and I was discussing this with one of the reporters out there, was the thing I really liked about it was the simplicity of you have all this 12-inch screen, something like that. You have all this screen, but guess what? I could just have the Speedo on the center stack there, and that's it. It's very configurable, but sometimes I don't need 16 different things distracting me. Even fuel economy and all that stuff. Sometimes if I'm cruising, I don't care about, like, I'm on the highway. I'm already probably getting good fuel economy, so I just want a Speedo down there. The heads-up display on all these vehicles was freaking nice as can be. I can't say enough for with that tech. I've been playing with that tech since the early 90s. Pontiac used to do a lot of heads-up display that was horrible, but it was cool at the time because it was futuristic looking. The way that all the heads-up, and most all these cars were similar, the way it'll do the speed sign, your lane departure warnings and all that in the glass was that really, really nice. I really dug that tech a lot. What else? There was a lot of similarities in vehicles. I think the Raptor, the 392 Wrangler was for off-road was nice and very impressive. Once again, that rumble of that thing, man, it's nice. But I think ultimately, if I was going to choose an off-road vehicle right now for the Texas auto riders, I would have to say it was the TRX. Everything about that vehicle, it's big, it's massive. There's nowhere really truly to off-road it unless you got a lot of open space. But I don't care. That thing, as long as you don't jump over a creek and then set it on fire and trash the thing, disrespect the vehicle like a larger YouTuber did, there's no ends. Like, you can have so much fun in that vehicle. And guys, don't disrespect these new vehicles. When these YouTubers that go out there and because they have 1 million or 2 million subs, they get, one of their videos drop and they're making 30 grand on a video. I kid you not. And for these guys to just start disrespecting some of these vehicles, they're treating them like they're just, I don't know, like the redheaded stepchild or something. They just smack them around, beat them. It's just disgusting to me. But especially after you drive this vehicle, it's so nice that, if I had the $80,000 for one, there would definitely be a TRX in my driveway. I think after playing with that one and seeing what GM is going to do with the Chevy ZR2 package, there's no way I would buy the ZR2 package. There's just no way. I think Raptor and T-Rex handle that segment way better. It's just GM just not getting it and just dipping their toes in the water a little bit. And Ram was smart with the TRX. They jumped in and they gave the finger to Ford and said, we're putting V8s in these things and it's going to be loud, obnoxious. And there you go. All right, guys. So any final questions or comments, and I'll get to them. I do appreciate all the super chats today. Those do greatly help the channel, so I do appreciate when y'all do that. It's not required by any means. I'll sit here and talk to you all day without it. But when you guys do that, it seriously helps the channel a lot. It allows for us to travel and bring you guys more reviews and fun content. So, well, it's crickets in here, so there you go. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, you know the drill. It doesn't matter what you drive. Once again, thank you to GT Garage Talk for stopping by, Mr. Corey. Go check out his channel. And till next time, guys, this has been your All Terrain Nation, and we are out. Peace, everyone.